I would love to cull and co-create some eloquent language surrounding the idea of ownership. And starting from sort of a broader perspective with the notion that we talk about we can be, do, or have anything that we want. And at the same time, aren't we everything, as well as our focused stream of consciousness? Aren't we abundance? Aren't we love? That seems logical in the most resonant way to me. We are those things.
You are those things, but you want to be those things not just in that ethereal vortex where you can't see it or smell it or taste it or touch it or hear it. You want it to be out here where you can experience it fully with all of your physicality, yes?
Yes. Because why would we be in this physical experience if it wasn't to...
beyond the leading edge where thoughts turn to things.
And in order to do that, it is the integration, mind, body, spirit. I mean, we're in physical beingness.
Can't get around it.
Yes.
Can't get around it because it is all energy. It is all vibration. It is all of that that's being translated through your physical senses into what you call your reality. But it can't translate into a physical sense that you call reality against the stream of thought that you stream. That's why so many different people are standing in similar spaces, having very different experiences.
Which is the beauty of it, right? Because we all, if there is a place at which we are all one, source energy, that pure positive soup from which we all have birthed, come forth into this physical experience.
Let's say all one, step 1 and step 3. All one. Because from the non-physical perspective, you are as understood and as loved and as appreciated when you're in step 1 as when you're in step. So let's not make the non-physical all about pure positive energy. Let's make it all about all of it. And you get to decide in your physicality where you want to stand right now. Jerry said to Esther from time to time, sometimes I just appear mad because it helps. And Esther said, I don't believe you. I think every time you've appeared mad, you've been mad. And he said, all right, I'll say it different. Sometimes I just let myself get mad because, and then he said, because I can't help it. And we weren't using the words trending then. They had quite a few laughs about that. But what he was reaching for was this. I know that I'm always aware of how I want to feel. And sometimes I let myself feel other than how I really mean to feel because it's part of the path to getting to where I want to feel. In other words, how are you going to know what you want if you don't let yourself experience some of what you don't want? And that's what we have called through all the years, taking the bounce. Knowing what you don't want is an important part of the clarification and the calibration. So wouldn't it be nice if we could all just get off of all of our high horses and all of our judgment about where anybody else is and just accept that wherever they are, and that's just fine. But I get to pick my place within that mix right here, right now, as best I can. So the mantra, I'm just going to feel as good as I can feel from where I am, is a really practical and logical approach, isn't it?
It also just feels good. Because there are way too many variables.
Of which you can't wait to sink your teeth into, but way too many all at once.
Yes. No, way too many to judge anybody for collecting, 3 variables that they want that differ from yours.
I'll trade you my anger, frustration, and guilt for one hope. Right? You're bargaining with one another all the time.
Which also comes into talking about audiences and wanting to teach and uplift others, because in order to
get out ahead of it and attract your audience, right. Don't wait till they show up and then adapt to them.
No, exactly. So what a beautiful perspective to play with the notion that I'll take it back and start from this spot. The term ready to get ready always sort of had this sort of niggling, nagging notion of, I think for me, of not understanding exactly what it meant. And yet when we all broached the topic of just getting out there and ready to play, my entire body started to vibrate. And I started to think, a high five, this is random, but stay with me. A high five is noticing where everybody is in their variation and differences, wherever they are in the present time, mixed with wherever they are in their vortex and their desires. It is a physical expression and a representation of, I see you, you're beautiful and spectacular, exactly where you are, now let's play. Let's have some fun.
That's a really good place to focus, because what it's saying is everybody's drawn to the moment of yes, but they're all saying yes from different vantage points, and they're all at different points on the emotional scale often, and yet celebrating the moment that I'm doing the best I can do right here and now, and that's enough.
And you don't need to be anywhere else
for
for me to see you, for us to connect. We're in it together.
Don't work too hard. Do not try to stand in the role of the law of attraction. There's a little bit of that going on here. Let the law of attraction bring it together, and then you just step in and be deliberate. Don't spend any time noticing where someone is and trying to move the needle on them. Spend all your time moving your own needle. That's what owning it is. And then they'll come along or they won't, but they're more likely to come along if you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, because your power of influence is greater. Your attraction power is greater.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So ownership is the stability, your rudder to understand.
When we use the term owning the room, what we always mean by it is being like humans described Jesus when he was in the mode of healing someone. He was so connected with source, what man calls God, with wellness, that even though they were sick, he didn't notice their illness. He wasn't trying to heal them. He was knowing wellness. That's a hard thing for most teachers, because most teachers are looking at the illness and then wanting to take people by the hand and lead them to the wellness. But when you take somebody by the hand who's ill, you're messing your vibration. You're not owning the room. You're joining them in their room and then trying to go to another room.
Almost as if to say where they are is not okay. Let me lead you to a better place.
Well, it's exactly what you're saying, and that is not illogical, because they've been telling you they want to be in a better place. They want to be in a different place, but you just can't get there from there. If somebody makes you feel sorry for them, you can't help them. If you're empathizing and sobbing with someone over the distress of their life, you've got nothing to give them. You're not the path to what they're looking for. You're there for them. We know you've heard this, but it really is as simple as saying, if someone doesn't feel you sympathizing or empathizing in the way that you want them to, say instead, I know you want me to be there for you, but I'm there for you. What do you mean? Well, there's you not feeling so good, and there's you in your vortex, and that's the you I'm there for. I'm there for you. That's the who and the where that I'm there for. You don't have to say it to them. They won't get it anyway. But if you know yourself what you're doing, and that's what we mean by owning the room. Using all of the resources, and they are mighty, that are available to you at all times, and they are. Esther has a friend. We talk about her often. She moved to a place in the wilderness, bought a cross-country ski lodge that was surrounded on two sides by a national forest. And there were lions and tigers and bears, oh my, and all kinds of other things. And she said to Jerry and Esther, there are so many things to be afraid of up here. I had to give quite a few of them up. And Esther thought, how nice is that? We are eager in our desire to uplift and eager in our willingness to help. But sometimes we get engulfed with the problems of the world, the problems of the person, the problems of the moment. And we just have to give some of the problems up to even connect with any of the solutions.